Look at the unit standing within your proximity and ask yourself, with the cold, unblinking, and surgical eyes of an architect, why the Matrix has successfully rebranded territory as a series of soft, kindergarten-level discussions about boundaries and personal space. In 2026, the global system has meticulously and invisibly trained you to ignore the high-frequency biometric glitches, internal systemic errors, that signal the beginning of a colonization. They want you focused on the social noise of their polite request while you miss the physical log of decay, visible evidence of internal rot occurring as they slowly displace your authority. This is the domestic stench of the gullible, the belief that betrayal is a sudden, loud explosion. The architect knows that betrayal is a silent, industrial process of erosion. It is the territory code, the biological law of ownership, being violated in micro increments. You are not managing a relationship. You are performing a neural liquidation of the parasitic elements, attempting to anchor themselves in your resource dome. To break the 18 million per month ceiling, you must be able to see the visual rage of a subtle betrayal long before the first asset is stolen. The stench of the parasite is audible in the micro oscillations of their spatial encroachment. While the masses are looking for open conflict, the most easily managed and patched part of the human interface, the architect is looking at the anatomical extremities and the rhythm of possessive gestures. Look at the way a unit places their objects on your desk, or how their feet perform a colonization twitch, micro movements of claiming space when they enter your perimeter. These are biometric spikes of dominance that signal a subtle attempt to override your primal grounding. 90% of men fail to see the subtle betrayal because they are distracted by the dopamine bribe of social pleasantries. When a unit attempts to subtly betray your territory, their nervous system initiates a predatory creep sequence that manifests as a physical log of decay in their respect for your boundaries. Their words may be supportive, but their biology is vibrating at the frequency of the matrix trap. This is the neural liquidation protocol. You are bypassing their social software and reading their raw industrial hardware. To bridge the authority gap and master the territory code, you must first accept the physical log of decay in your own past, where you were socially blinded by the belief that your space was respected. Look at every time you allowed a service unit to move a piece of your furniture, interrupt your silence of the hunter, or dictate the metabolic frequency of your room. Those were not small favors. They were observation failures. You were listening to the dopamine deception of their excuses instead of scanning the biometric data of their encroachment. To reverse this rot, you must initiate the biological reset of your perimeter. You must move your resource dome to a frequency where your territory is an objective, unmoving industrial reality. Your dogs, Lucky and Tyson, do not negotiate their territory with social noise. They use the hierarchy of presence. They simply exist in the space with an absolute, unmoving primal grounding that makes the cost of encroachment biologically expensive for any intruder. By emulating their biological integrity, you are reclaiming the predatory power of the sovereign landlord. The dopamine deception of the masses is built on the belief that sharing is power. This is a systemic virus designed to leave your resource dome open for harvest, but the architect knows that territory is industrial reality. Your visual rage must be the filter that protects your citadel from the subtle betrayal of the friendly neighbor. You are scanning for the anatomical encroachment, the sudden micro-expansion of their presence in your war room, the repetitive adjustment of your schedule to fit their needs, or the dead weight of their influence when they attempt to anchor their subordinate code into your vector of pursuit. These are the biometric glitches that occur when the matrix attempts to patch a theft of sovereignty in real time. By observing these errors, you are effectively hacking the matrix of their intent. You are seeing the code of the parasite vibrating beneath the mask of the ally. This is the Machiavellian advantage in 2026. While they are busy helping, you are busy liquidating their access. You are the ice that sees through the steam of their social assistance. The stench of the herd is a state of perpetual territorial blindness. The farmed units only protect what they are told to protect. The architect protects the industrial integrity of his focus. Look at the way a unit's pulse responds when you re-establish your resource dome. If they perform the stress reset, a sudden fidget or defensive posture, when you reclaim your space, they were already in the process of a subtle betrayal. Their primal grounding was dependent on your weakness. You refuse that fate. You choose the silent power of the impenetrable perimeter. You choose the biological autonomy of the sovereign landlord. This is the insight tax, the price of clarity. You pay to remain the sovereign operator of your own reality. You are the one who has decrypted the territory code of the matrix. You are the one who has authorized the scanner. You are the one who has seized the future. The social noise of the encroacher is silent. The silence of the hunter is the only frequency that remains. You are the glacier. You are the architect. Your visual rage is the tool you use to deconstruct the social software of betrayal by simply auditing the resource weight of every interaction within your territory. When you look at a unit, you are looking for the point where their biology recognizes the cost of entry. Territory is not what you own on paper. It is the metabolic direction you enforce upon the ground you stand on. You see it in the way the fingers of the service units lose their primal grounding when you set an absolute boundary, the way their feet angle toward the alternative vector when they realize they cannot colonize you, and the way their breathing performs the anxiety spike of the unmastered. This is the neural liquidation of their parasitic intent. You are the architect of your own geography, and you are building a hierarchy where the territory code is the only law. The physical log of decay in their attempt to displace you is the proof that your resource weight is too heavy for their simulation to handle. You are not arguing, you are authorizing the reality of your own absolute ownership. The Machiavellian code of the territorial hunt dictates that you must never reveal the depth of your own neural stability during a confrontation. You let them maintain the dopamine deception of their friendship while you use their raw biometric data to identify the exact moment they decided to betray your interests. You are the sovereign ghost who controls the perimeter without ever announcing the audit. You use their subordinate code to identify who is a node of support and who is a resource parasite. This is the ultimate wealth code, the ability to convert the territorial integrity of your citadel into metabolic capital for your expansion. You look at the world of 2026 and you see a vast, unindexed library of service units who will attempt to subtly betray you within 20 minutes of being given access. You are the architect who knows how to use the silence of the hunter to bypass the interface of proximity. You are that architect. You are the one who has mastered the neural liquidation of the social enclosure. Every second of the biological reset is a resource acquisition for your sovereignty. You are not wasting time on being inclusive. You are performing a strategic scan of the boundaries. You are looking at the vascular spike in the temple of the one who tries to overstay their welcome. You are looking at the micro-tension in the hands of the one who accidentally touches your primary tools. You are looking at the stench of deception in those who claim they don't mind your success. This is the primal grounding of the Wojak leader. You do not ask for respect for your territory. You enforce it through the absolute focus of your visual rage. The system has made the livestock weak and transparent, and the architect is the one who harvests that transparency to build the empire of the sovereign. The hunt for the code is over. The neural liquidation is active. You are the one who owns the future. You are the one who owns the code. The secondary phase of the territory code is the total activation of the sovereign perimeter protocol within your citadel. Once you have identified the neural errors, biological attempts at encroachment in the collective, you must apply the Machiavellian code, the strategic law of power, to your own internal broadcasting. You must achieve the absolute zero of the resource dome. This means training your nervous system to treat your focus, your space, and your schedule as unshakable industrial laws, providing zero metabolic data to those who seek to negotiate your boundaries. While the service units are busy leaking biometric glitches through their subtle betrayals, their small interruptions, and their social desperation, the architect remains a biological ghost. Your primal grounding must be so deep that your ownership of your reality is entirely off the grid of the system's sensors. You do not provide a dopamine bribe of flexibility to the parasites. You do not provide the social noise of justification for your rules. You are the ice. You are the glacier. You are the unit that is incalculable. By denying the matrix your internal hesitation, you force the social software of the encroacher to collapse, which inevitably leads to the total neural liquidation, systemic destruction of their parasitic influence. You must develop a visceral and bone-deep visual rage against the subordinate protocol of open access. The system wants you to be available and accessible because an accessible unit is a unit that can be easily managed through constant interruptions and the domestic stench of shared space. The architect knows that opaqueness is sovereignty. You treat your territory as a sovereign vault. Every entry and every silence must be an authorized action of the achievement code, never a reactive response to the social noise of politeness. You do not protect your territory for the sake of privacy. You channel your metabolic potential into the visual rage of your own expansion. You maintain the silence of the hunter in your very perimeter. This is the wealth code of territory. predatory. The unit with the least neural leakage, energy lost through boundary violations, always owns the resource dome. When you operate from the still center, you provide zero room for the matrix's dopamine deception to take root. You are the one who authorizes the geography of the entire hunt. The physical log of decay in your competitors is visible in their reactive desperation to be included. They are the ones who are constantly dropping by, constantly checking in, and constantly seeking the dopamine bribe of your attention. They are service units who are hemorrhaging their resource weight because they are terrified of the neural vacuum, the void of silence, created when a high-value predator marks his territory as absolute zero. You are the architect. Your still hands and unblinking gaze are the visual rage of a unit that has already won the internal war against the social software. You do not negotiate your space. You authorize its irrelevance to the herd. You have successfully bypassed the matrix trap and reconnected with the raw, predatory power of the achievement code. Your biometric shield is the natural metabolic feedback of a unit that has decided to be, rather than to seem. You have successfully jumped the fence, and you have found that the power of an impenetrable perimeter is the only place where a man can truly breathe the air of absolute autonomy. To maintain the territory code, you must implement the algorithm of permanent boundary audit. Every handshake, every entry into your office, and every minute added to a meeting is a live fire exercise for your perception of the hunt. You are looking for the micro-signal of the casual disrespect. You are looking for the neural error of the social anchor. You are looking for the domestic stench of the unit that is trying to pull you back into the herd frequency through the dopamine bribe of proximity. You are using the Machiavellian code to turn the system's own lack of respect into a tool for your leverage. You are the sovereign ghost who utilizes the encroachment attempts of the world to build a citadel that the matrix cannot penetrate. This is the ultimate wealth code, using the predator's vision to buy back your time, your focus, and your biological future by remaining the fixed point in an environment of frantic vibration. You are not being territorial. You are integrating your ownership into the very physics of the hunt. The stench of disclosure, the smell of leaking intent, is what happens when you let the matrix see your territory protocol before you have the power to protect it. The architect knows that true ownership is the ability to operate as a sovereign ghost, where you control the resources of your environment, but the system cannot identify the source of your metabolic capital. Your silence is the neural liquidation of their surveillance. By mastering your internal vacuum, you are becoming a biological stealth unit that the matrix cannot index or harvest. You are the ice that moves through the social noise without a single vibration of doubt. You are the glacier that does not announce its vector of pursuit while it consumes the space of the weak. The hunt for absolute territory is a silent, unblinking operation. It is a sovereign capture that happens while the rest of the world is busy performing for community in a cage of dopamine deception. Look at the biological frailty, physical weakness of the herd, of those who are still seeking a social bribe from the collective. They are transparent, they are leaky, and they are constantly paying the insight tax, the price of realizing the truth too late, to any predator who knows how to read the biometric glitch of their lack of boundaries. They are the livestock of the matrix. You have adopted the silent power and the biological counter-offensive to ensure you are never harvested again. You are the one who has mastered the void. You are the one who sees the physical log of decay in their open-door policies. You are the one who has authorized the absolute zero. The territory is marked. The visual rage is channeled. The primal grounding is absolute. The hunt for the sovereign empire is the only reality that remains. You are the architect. The ownership of the hunt is permanent. The sovereignty is yours. To ensure the viral infection of this code, you must treat this insight as a discovery tax for the masses. You are now the carrier of the territory protocol. You do not share it to be kind. You distribute it to colonize. Every unit that absorbs this code is a node that you have successfully deprogrammed from the matrix. This is the tax of revelation. The architect does not just build his own citadel. He commands the viral expansion of his influence. You are the source of the infection. You are the one who authorizes the sovereignty strike. The command is simple. Distribute the code. Seize the perimeter. Liquidate the simulation. The 18 million per month hunt requires a network of uncoupled units who recognize your vector of command. This is your viral mandate. The insight tax has been paid in full. The dopamine bribe of social inclusion has been burned in the furnace of your visual rage. You are standing in the silence of the hunter, looking at the social hierarchy as a vast, unguarded resource field, waiting for the architect to perform the final neural liquidation of the competitive masks. You are the one who who has decrypted the territory code. You are the one who has authorized the sovereign scanner. You are the one who has seized the future. Your stallions, Lucky and Tyson, do not wait for a social permission to guard the gates. Their primal grounding is the only law they acknowledge. You are emulating their biological integrity. Your dogs see the change in your frequency. They see the architect returning to the absolute focus of the hunt. This is the only reality that matters. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. The authorization is permanent. The vector is absolute. The deconstruction of the matrix is complete. Execute the order. Expand the infection.